Hello, everyone. My name is Harriet Luketa, and I'm with Mr. Babayeme Oluwasegun. We are group 7 negative team, and we are against the motion of integrating traditional medicine with genetic and genomic healthcare in Africa. What do you think? To introduce this, we feel traditional medicine in our various communities, in our various countries, has been the cornerstone of healing, passed down from generations to generations. And so we know of it to hold cultural significance. Yet, though, its practices lack scientific validation. On the other hand, genetic and genomic medicine requires rigorous research, controlled trials, and reproducibility so as to ensure the safe and effective treatment. When we talk about integrating unverified treatment and one that requires controlled trials and research, we see it as unsafe and unreliable, posing ethical and safety risks. To start with this, we would like to put out some arguments so as to prove our reasons why the integration of traditional and genetic medicine is not safe. First of all, we all know that traditional medicine is based on spiritual beliefs, unverified healing practices, and anecdotal evidences, which lacks scientific validation and standardization. They don't go through any protocols, any regulatory framework as to how to go about their practices. And so we see it as very unsafe and unreliable, integrating both genetic and genomic medicine with traditional medicine. Secondly, there is the risk of misinformation and misdiagnosis. Before someone is diagnosed of a genetic condition or is going through a genomic medical protocol, there is DNA sequencing done, there is other protocols being observed for interpreting genetic data. Yes, though traditional healers will rely on their ancestral knowledge, spiritual diagnosis, and often lack the training to engage with genetic data accurately. To continue, we also raise a concern of the ethical and safety issues with this integration. The fundamental principle of modern medicine is to ensure that patient safety through rigorous clinical validation and ethical oversight is ensured. Yes, though, these traditional healers or the traditional medicine lacks regulatory framework to ensure the safety and efficacy of these treatment protocols. And so merging the two would lose fits when it comes to ethical and safety issues. We also put out the point that when we try to merge or integrate traditional medicine and genomic medicine, there is a potential for conflict between the scientific and cultural approaches. Now, concerning genomic medicine, we know there are specialties or it's based on molecular biology, identifying genetic mutation, tracing inheritance patterns, and possibly environmental interactions so as to diagnose or prognose any condition. But that is not the case for traditional medicine. And so there will be conflict as to which approach to observe or which approach to validate. Furthermore, we argue at the point that there's complexity of genetic disorders requiring specialized expertise. I said earlier, these traditional healers or in traditional medicine, they lack the training, lack the expertise in some specialties. And so trying to merge the two, there'll be a complex conflict as to how to go about with genetic disorders. In terms of bioinformatics, precision medicine, molecular biology, all these create a complex issue trying to diagnose genetic disorders. In our communities, we see some individuals sit back at home, prepare concoctions, some herbs, bottle it up and label them and sell it to the market, trying to exploit the credibility of genomic medicine so as to market their unverified treatment. They go out in the public to tell them that, as said in the hospitals, that this. They are repeating the fact that it is true. And so they put out information trying to rebut the scientific information out there, leading to public distrust in legitimate genetic healthcare services. Now, we also argue that there is delayed adoption of advanced medical technology. The world is advancing. Globally, genetic medicine is advancing rapidly. And so we have to chase the pull us back, which will pull us back, trying to advance in medical technologies. Traditional medicine is not open enough to accept medical technologies and approaches. And so we see it as a delayed adoption of advanced medical technologies. Also, traditional medicine may promote stigma and discriminations. Back in our homes as Africans, when a child is born with genetic disorders such as Down syndrome, autism, cerebral palsy, those children are tagged as demonic, or they are told that it's as a result of a family curse or spiritual forces or any other misconceptions. And so this practices has gone on from generation to generation. So trying to integrate this will promote the stigma and discrimination of genetic conditions. When someone is born with albinism, they see the person as odd and not part of human, as well as sickle cell and epilepsy. And so these will unintentionally perpetuate the misconceptions. Also, there is ethical and legal challenge in accountability. Our grandparents, our great grandparents went through um, healing practices or observed some protocols in trying to heal conditions without any regulatory or licensing boards trying to verify their protocols. And so they operate without oversight, making it difficult to hold them accountable for any medical errors. Meanwhile, modern medicine has strict regulatory frameworks, licensing boards, and more practice laws. And so we can't adopt both strategies trying to pose all these regulatory frameworks on traditional healers. We also argue the point that there is limited research on the compatibility of traditional remedies in genetic medicine. Many traditional African remedies involve herbal treatment, and we don't know as to the interactions, the pharmacogenomic procedure that it goes through in our body. And so further, we have realized that it has known to alter drug metabolism by interfering with our liver enzymes and affecting the genetically based treatment that has been used. So as we try to integrate both, we see the compatibility as a problem or as an issue which is alarming, and so we advise against integration. Furthermore, we will try to rebut other arguments raised by our fellow co-debaters why it should be integrated. And so from our co-debaters, they will say that traditional healers are trusted in our communities, and so they can facilitate genetic counseling and awareness. We will refute that fact, saying that it will reinforce the cultural beliefs genetic contrasting them with our genetic counseling and awareness will perpetuate the stigma on genetic conditions in our communities, and so we can't entrust them with it. Also, they say that countries like China and India has been successful with this integration, and so it is possible. We are responding to the fact that globally genetic medicine is advancing, and so why then should we go back to our traditional medicine, integrate them, and retard progress in genetic medicine? We would encourage that instead of investing in modern genetic tools, falling further behind medical innovation. So we should prioritize science-based approaches to ensure that Africa benefits from global advancement in genomics. Now, they would also say that many rural communities have limited access to modern healthcare. Obviously, that's true. And so integrating traditional healers or expanding, we would review it that traditional healers, as their knowledge from our ancestral background and cultural beliefs and generations, then they to engage genomic data access. Though they already practicing the heavy family conditions, but when it comes to genomic data or genomic conditions, they can't see them as a youth which is for providing healthcare. Also, traditional medicine often includes plant-based remedies with pharmacogenomic relevance. Collaboration could lead to novel discovery. This is coming from our co-debaters. And we say that is not true because some herbs, as said earlier, the concoctions they prepare and the herbs they use, they need to know about the drug metabolism process. And we can't entrust our liver enzymes, our systems with the concoctions they prepare. And so it affects the efficacy of genetics-based treatment. Using those medications, when we try to use genetic approaches, it interferes with this problem. And so it doesn't have pharmacogenomic relevance. With our closing statement, we conclude that we need to protect the future of genomic medicine in Africa. Integrating traditional medicine and genomic healthcare would introduce multiple risks, misinformation, diagnosis, ethical violations, and weakening scientific standards. And so trying to merge the two, we encourage or we advocate that Africa should focus on advancing its genomic healthcare infrastructure, invest in modern medical research, and ensure that patients receive treatment based on rigorous research evidence and not using traditional methods, culture, and upholding historical significance. It can remain separate from genomics or modern healthcare, but integration, we say it's unsafe and poses a lot of risk. This is how far we would come with our debate session, and these are references. We thank you all for your audience and we welcome any questions, contributions.